What's up, everybody? Rajay in the house, and with my main man Dave here from Beer in Front. We are back with something new in 2025. You know you have to keep mixing it up when you're here on YouTube. So we're back with the Midwest Beer News Show. Give you guys a rundown on this right here. So we're going to be doing this every other week, every other Friday night, and we're going to be sharing beer news, kind of highlighted out of the Midwest, because we got a lot of good stuff happening here, folks.
We do.
A lot of good stuff. And we'll touch on some national points here and there as well. So if you're not in the Midwest, don't feel bad. We got stuff for you there also. And then get you some of the highlights on things you might want to check out that we're seeing, and keep you all posted there. So that being said, Dave, anything you want to add in before we start rocking and rolling?
No, I just want to let everybody know I just came down with a summer cold, so there might be a time where I need to mute and get off camera for a second while I have a sneezing fit, but I'll be back in 2 seconds. So let's do this.
All right. And if you got the comments, you know how we like to have it all interactive. So make sure you're dropping your comments out there. And actually, I'm going to roll out the new tool I have here on StreamYard, where I will actually, and Dave will actually see your comments on screen as well. So not just having to turn to the section. So keep them clean as you can, but you know, we like to have fun too. So I'm not going to say
fresh,
you can't,
so clean. Yep.
Can't say you can't drop the F-bombs, all that kind of stuff. Although I wouldn't advise. I mean, you don't need to. We try to keep this cordial. When you're drinking these beers, you never know what's going to happen. And not like I have a bevy of advertisers trying to come on board with me right now. Yeah. So, this is like back when I was an independent radio DJ back in the 90s. We were able to get away with some stuff before dollars started flowing in. But,
like Dr. Johnny Fever. Yeah.
And he said, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, well, I won't say that again on the radio. Yeah. So, but a lot of good stuff happening. This is the first episode of Midwest Beer News. And for those of you following back on the podcast, hopefully you enjoy. I know I have it on my channel. Dave, I'm sure you'll have it on yours. And then make sure, again, join us if you want to be part of the live commentary by signing in either through Rajay BeerVentures on YouTube or Beer in Front on YouTube, as this is being broadcast out on both channels. So want to definitely see you guys hit us up. Feel free to reach out any questions, or if you're seeing some stuff out there you think we should share, definitely want to have you guys let us know. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the button here, so that way, for those of you not familiar with the websites, you can actually check those out as well, because a lot of things we talk about on YouTube, there's things we don't talk about that you might have to catch on the podcast, or you might have to catch on the blog. So it's all about keeping you guys informed on the beer. That being said, where do we want to begin with? So do we want to start off with the one that we want to review and talk about that brewery, talk about a little bit about Moore's, who actually just won the 2025 Brewing and Business Experience-ship from Sam Adams. Congrats to them on that as well. That is huge. Give them a little applause there. I didn't know all the people that would be considered. I know they did beat out Liquid Intrusion, but Drew and Jasmine, applause to you guys for making it to the final round. I know you were there with Jim Cook and with Moore's and all kind of in the final selection. So, one of those things, you get to that final round, even if you don't win, you gain so much experience being able to actually sit down with Jim Cook, learn about the stuff they're doing at Sam Adams, have them provide some insight that you couldn't get anywhere else without being a part of that. So all the people that made it there, you always hear on the Emmys or the Oscars, it's just an honor to be nominated, right? I feel like to be in that room, it's an honor to be in that room for sure. Everybody wants to be a winner, but unfortunately, everybody can't win. But just to have that opportunity, you guys deserve it for sure. Shout out to Vanessa in the house. Great to see you as well, my friend. And appreciate you coming in to check out the first episode here on the show. But yeah, so Moore's Brewing, they won the award. They're actually did a beer collab with Revolution. And Dave, I'll let you get into this here, talking about the beer they did out of Chicago. And for those of you looking to attend the Barrel and Flow Fest, if you saw the unboxing I did earlier from the kind things that Dave sent to me, this beer will actually be there on tap. So congrats to them. And if you're going, a good chance to try it. But Dave, you got the rundown on what went out with that beer?
Yeah. Now, this is, Revolution Brewing and Moore's Brewing. They're having this collaboration. It's a Polish style Pilsner. It's for Barrel and Flow Fest, but it's also available all around Chicagoland. I just saw.
Sorry about that.
Just saw an email today from Booney's Beverage Depot. If you're in the Chicago area, it's the largest chain liquor store, so they have it there. I picked it up over at Revolution, sent some out to Rod J, so we could have it on the show. I'm sure you could pick it up all over. So it's not just exclusive for Barrel and Flow, but it's a 5% Polish Pilsner. According to the release, it's a crisp floral brew with bready notes of lemon and biscuit. They use a hop I've never heard of before. It's called Lubieski. So this is to the Lipka Tatars. This is Poland's ethnic Muslim minority, so that's really cool. We're going to crack this one open in a little bit, but I'm super stoked. And Revolution, this isn't their first go round with Barrel and Flow. They had one with 18th Street Brewery back in 2021. That was really good. I think that was called Shop Talk. That was awesome. And they did one with Funky Town a couple years back. So Revolution, I need to give big shout out, because they're always like doing collabs with other breweries and getting their stuff out there. So, but I'm really excited because I haven't had this yet. I was waiting to have it with you tonight, Rod J.
Excellent. Yeah. And Funky Town, not just a song anymore. There's an actual brewery too.
Yes.
So yeah.
And they won the Sam Adams deal like last year or the year before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there you go. So Chicago has some stuff happen. Like we said, the Midwest has some things taking place. You want to do that as the second beer or the first beer?
Well, I'm finishing up the first one because, I figured this is the Midwest Beer Show. You're from Ohio, so I had to grab one from Great Lakes. I'm doing their Spacewalker right now.
Yeah, let's get a look at that. Let's get a look at that can there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hazy double IPA. Usually, with Great Lakes, I love my Edmund Fitzgerald stuff, but I'm like, all right, let me try this one. This will be a new one to try from Great Lakes, and I will say it's pretty damn good.
Nice. Well, hopefully George Lucas doesn't come knocking on the door about that. So
yeah,
kind of has a little bit of a Star Wars type theme to it. It looks like, but so we'll be doing the beer review here of the Moore's one. Here a second, Moore Evolution. So, but being a Midwest beer show, and Vanessa, good thing you're actually here as well. I'll do this one early. I don't know. I got to get an oil change in the morning, so hopefully this one doesn't kick my ass too much tonight. But I am going to be going to Michigan, and we're going to be doing the Dragon's Milk Triple Mash. So this is the 18% ABV variant.
Oh, not sure if you saw this.
That's what you got to do, right? And I don't know if you've seen this one, Dave, up in your area. Have you got a chance to try it yet, or?
I have not seen that. And
okay,
I need to get my rear end over to Holland, Michigan, pick that up, because they must have forgotten about the state of Illinois.
It is what it is. Like I said, we're up here. We're winning medals. We're getting a lot of beer coming this way. I don't know. Illinois used to be that way too, but we passed you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So this will be something I'm going to crack open now. I was debating. I'm not going to have it here tonight because I'll have a review coming out. But if you haven't seen it yet, they actually got into the IPA game. Actually, last Friday on the happy hour, I had the Emerald IPA, but the review will be upcoming on that one as well. Kind of interesting. They kept that at 11% too for the Dragon's Milk series. I mean, you got to be 11 at least, but the triple mash, they kicked it up a notch. So I'm going to get this poured into a glass, and in the hashtag proper glass world, I am going to use my New Holland Dragon's Milk glass to actually enjoy this one too. So don't know if you've seen it out there, Vanessa, but they do have those as well. And if not, let me know, and I can definitely try to see if I can get you a glass next time I'm back. I can't remember where I got this one at. If it was actually I think it might have been with the New Holland set, but Jungle Gyms has a lot of good glassware there, and I'm sure they would have something like this there too, probably. But crack this baby open on the label too for it does, and it says, look, that They just get you all prepped up. Dragon's Milk Cellar. So yeah, so guys down in the cellar that area, it's ready. Go ahead and get it out to the market. Yeah. Wow. Just on a pour, you already get the notes coming off of it already. That's crazy. I'm not going to do the spinner thing tonight, but look at the beer itself. Yeah. Yeah, you get the barrel. You get the barrel on the nose. You get the bourbon. You get the wood. You get the oak.
Why don't you give me your StreamYard password in case you pass out after that? I got to take this over.
I've been doing this a long time, kids. I'm a professional. Just so you know, I'm a professional. So,
Trained professional, yes.
Yeah. Don't do this at home. We have a disclaimer we have put up on here, maybe. I don't know. Oh, but it smells really, really nice. Oh my gosh, that's so smooth. That is so smooth. You know, it should be 18% ABV. I feel like it should be illegal to have something be that smooth. Because you'll just go back. It's got like the little caramel type presence to it, that smoothness underneath, that little bit of a sweetness, kind of a fudge type feel. It's like, I'll have another one. No, you can't go to the whole 4-pack at 18% ABV. Not a good move to make. Not a good move, but I could do it. It's not a good idea when you got to do an 8 o'clock oil change in the morning. But oh my gosh, this is really good. If you're a Dragon's Milk fan or an Imperial Stout barrel aged fan, you got to get your hands on this triple mash.
You could change your oil with that. You don't need to go to Jiffy Lube.
It feels that way, and it's got a nice body to it, so it's got a little bit of a thickness. I would say it's not all the way where it's like a chewy type part of it, but it's definitely there. It's good. It's that aftertaste of the alcohol from the barrel, and you just get that sitting nicely in the mouth. I mean, this is one, it's been too freaking hot to really do it, but if I had like a fire out back or whatever, like this is a nice one to sit around a little fire pit and just sit back and enjoy and
have a cigar, just kick back. Yeah,
listen to the freaking cicadas or whatever else is outside nowadays. So it's
weird
smooth.
though. Like, you were mentioning that Emerald IPA and that, like, I have not seen the beer that you're having there. They must have like cut their distribution to Illinois because, looking at the press release for the Emerald IPA, it's going to be released in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, California, North Carolina, and Connecticut. Like, New Holland, you forgot a state. It's like right around Indiana. You just curve right around Lake Michigan. So, like, the Emerald IPA, I'm not going to be able to get, but that one looks really good too. Looking at like the notes for that, like, oh, sign me up for that. I would drink that. Anything in the Dragon's Milk line is fantastic.
Yes,
but an IPA, I would love to try that.
Yeah, I would say, maybe you need to send them a message like, hey, I don't know who pissed in your Cheerios from Illinois, but don't count me with them. I need to get your beer still. And Vanessa commented, she's up in Connecticut. She's not getting a number of beers either. So maybe they might be shipping around their distribution. I mean, I'm trying to think when I went to CBC, I think I did meet a few people from New Holland. I have to go back through my cards and stuff, but I will, if I got a contact, I'll definitely reach out because I'd love to get them on and kind of talk about some of the stuff they're doing and to get them on here. And you can be like, hey, I'm your neighbor. What's the dealio?
Yeah. I mean, I remember I went to New Holland 21 years ago. I went up there and I was like digging their stuff. They had, what was it? Mad Hatter IPA. I think it was before Dragon's Milk, but I could be wrong. But like Mad Hatter was one of their big ones.
I love some Mad Hatters back in the day.
And I went up there and went to the brewery and the tap room. Yeah. I've been there. I'm not no Johnny come lately. I saw you guys 21 years ago. You got to hook a brother up from the Midwest.
I don't know why they faded out the Mad Hatter series or whatever, because I like the ones they were doing with those. But to come to think of it, I haven't seen like the Cabin Fever Brown Ale in a long time, and I like that one. I thought that was a pretty decent brown ale they put together. Some of their other stuff too is just like, it's like almost their Dragon's Milk has now become New Holland, the same way Voodoo
Yeah.
Ranger has become New Belgium.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that's their front line. That's where they're kind of putting stuff in. Bell's is doing it with Oberon and the various things there too. So maybe that's a new thing taking place where they're putting this stuff out.
And it pays the bill. So you can't blame a brewery for, pushing what's extremely popular out there, because if that's what's making you money, hey, God bless you.
Yeah, you got to follow the dollars. That's for sure. Shout out to the bourbon guy. No idea what you're sipping on, but if you haven't tried Other Half and Barrel IPAs, you're missing out. Best IPAs in the country. Well, bourbon guy, you're not looking at two rookies here, so we've definitely been drinking a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm actually drinking
beers here.
the New Holland Triple Mash. This is 18% ABV from New Holland Brewing out of Michigan. Don't know if you're a stout person as well, but if so, New Holland Dragon's Milk is pretty solid. Other Half I've had, and I do enjoy it from time to time. In fact, I was at the Other Half that they have now in DC like a year and a half ago. Next year, CBC's in Philly, so I may pop by the one they have in Philadelphia as well. I've never gotten Burial. I know about Burial. I know a lot of people enjoy what they get from Burial. But here's always the thing, like they say the best in the country. Like, you can't really know unless you had them all, right? Because I can tell you, like, as Dave in Chicago would tell you, freaking Hot Butcher has some of the most solid IPAs you can get out there as well. And then there's other places that are putting out some really good stuff too. So that's always the fun of craft beer, always out there kind of experimenting. And don't know how much you've had in the different areas as well, but it's always fun, bourbon, to get out there and have some fun for sure and find out what's happening. Vanessa's main screen is the pic of the Dragon's Milk bottle sitting on the edge of a fire pit. Yeah, Vanessa, her plan was to drive to actually New Holland, Michigan to get Dragon's Milk in a keg and bring it back. So, yeah. Poor Dave's getting choked up over there. And I will post a pic on my Instagram. That's the phone screen. Yeah, I'm sure it's a pretty cool pic there. Oh, Bourbon Guy's in Charlotte. He says, yeah, he's a Hot Butcher there. Yeah, so Hot Butcher is pretty solid. I mean, it's all a matter of what hits you right on your palate. What makes it sound, I see guys that love a beer and then someone come along and they don't like, and it's kind of like, it's all a different feel. It's what you're feeling. There's never really a bad beer. Just go with what you like for sure. But yeah, I will have Burial at some point, I'm sure. It's just we don't get distribution for them here. But it was so funny mentioning the Other Half, because when I used to not be able to get it here, we used to get it from our buddy Joe, the Beer Patrol, who would send it out from New York because he had them there. And then when I went to the East and I had it like at 3, 4, 5 different stores, it was kind of like I didn't drink it as much. It was kind of like it became so easily accessible. And then when I moved back here, which before I moved, they didn't have it here, but now they do. I'll get it from here time to time, but I'm never disappointed with Other Half. Other Half is definitely pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, the few times that I've had it here, it's an awesome beer. You can't go wrong with it. But it's also priced really high, where sometimes you look at it, and even if you go to like your local bottle shop and it's your build your own 4-pack or 6-pack, $7-8 a can. I don't know if it's that good. It's a good beer, but I have enjoyed what I've had from them. Yeah,
I think some places are definitely bending you over a little bit there when you go, because if you go to the brewery, 20, 22, 24, your 4-packs, like your double IPA stuff that I've seen there. Occasionally, if it's a special type thing, it'll be a little bit more, but I see some of the stores that kind of run that price up higher. It's like, dude, like they're just basically they're trying to stretch it as much as they can. And people don't know. It could be a turnoff for people to try that beer, which is why some of those times you'll see those on the shelves and you go to look at it. As we always say, check your date. Yeah. You go to look at it and it's been sitting there for 6 months. Well, yeah, you're charging $30 for a 4-pack. Inflation's on right now. We talked about the price of eggs in the past. Like people got to make their decisions, and they're going to skip that when they can go over and get something else that might be 15, 16 a 4-pack, or get 2 for the price of 1, depending. So yeah. Driving plans to come to a halt. Okay. Well, hopefully everything's going to be okay there for everything. So Vanessa's definitely had a lot of the medical stuff, but yeah. And honestly, I probably couldn't tell you, bro. I mean, in all the thousands of beers I've had, I've never really gotten into the hops part of it as much. I mean, I've brewed the beer. I know the hops. I've done stuff like on when you might want to use like Warrior hop or Citra hop, Simcoe hop, Nelson Sauvin, all that kind of stuff. But I've never really tried to scope it out as much from the beer game as far as when I'm enjoying the beer. I will say there is one that Mad Tree does here in Ohio, which is a Citra High, where they use the Citra there. I'm more of a Galaxy fan. They have a Galaxy High. I do like the Galaxy hop when that's used for that one. The Citra is not bad. It's just I don't really break down as much into the hop. What about you, Dave?
Zombie Dust is the big, Citra. I remember one, and I forget the name of the brewery, but it was the best beer name I've ever heard. It was called Citra Ass Down. And
that's down the road for me. That's against the grain. Yeah.
Citra Ass Down was good, but like Zombie Dust, and Zombie Dust is still a phenomenal beer. I don't know if Zombie Ice, because that one's like big here. You get that in the stovepipe cans.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all Citra as well. But Citra was like so big like 8-10 years ago, and it still is. But you don't see like as many like all Citra beers as you used to.
No. And I think that is part of the thing as far as some of the other hops being done now, they're being created and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know for one, like a lot of the breweries are messing around a lot of New Zealand type hops, which would be great because I do like the New Zealand flavors that coming out from those. But some are, you go to these breweries, and I've mentioned it before and stuff, they have basically chemistry labs in there, and all these hops are being created, not just at breweries, but all these different hop farms, all that kind of stuff. So you're getting like experimental hop 54325, and it's just like, what is that? Well, we haven't named it yet, but that's what it's called, right? It's like, I can't put that on. I don't know. Nobody's gonna know what that is. I mentioned in the videos. I didn't really talk about the hops as much, but there are some decent hops that are coming out. And one of my goals on the channel is to have some of the hop people on that I actually have met over the last year or so to talk about some of the hop game, but we'll get that up here at some point too. But in talking about the beer there, shout out again to Moores for what they actually did. So hang tight, and we'll do that review here in a little bit of the Moore Revolution. But God dang, this thing is smooth. I mean, I just feel like I'm just like relaxed right now, just chilling, going through it. But we'll come back to that. Big news that came out, I guess, part of the big news that came out this week, because everybody, when you're an adult age and you're a beer drinker, everybody else is running to the department stores and the malls of Black Friday. All the craft beer geeks are running to the beer stores, right? Because it's Bourbon County Day. So Bourbon County coming out gets everybody excited and stuff like that. And this week it was announced on the 2025 releases. So Dave, I know you got stuff there to hit on, and we can talk about that and some of the new flavors about to hit the streets here on Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup looks phenomenal. Now they have the original, the OG, the Bourbon County brand stout, which is going to be in the smaller bottles this year, which I'm excited about that, because sometimes, like you mentioned before, we're veterans. We can knock off a 16.9 and, still be good. But, for you rookies, maybe the smaller bottle's good for you. But the lineup of variants this year looks awesome. They have the Cherries Jubilee Stout. The Chalk Praline sounds phenomenal. They have a Bourbon County brand reserve that sounds amazing. Like this one says they're going to have like some dried fruit, spice, and toasted oak notes to that. So that one looks excellent. They also have a double barrel stout, and I'm just pulling up the website here. So I guess it's going to be aged twice in Heaven Hill bottles, or Heaven Hill barrels. My apologies. That sounds really good for Black Friday. But the proprietors, now that's the one that's usually they play with a lot. That one's a little off the wall sometimes. And this year, it's a baklava stout, which is, I guess, their take on the great Greek pastry baklava. This sounds absolutely killer. Like, I won't wait to get this on sale a month later. I'll pay full price when the baklava stout comes out. So they say this is going to be finished with walnuts, pistachio, bark, and honey. Sounds amazing. So definitely I want to check that one out. But yeah, the whole lineup looks good. Going to be released on Black Friday. And I know they do their prop days, which is generally like a week or so before Thanksgiving. So if you're in the Chicago area, you could definitely sign up and check that out. And then you'll get like a bottle of each and plus all the samples.
Right. And for those of you not familiar with the Bourbon County lineup, the prop is usually, and it's the same with this one, for the Chicago market. So luckily, wink, wink, I know a guy because I got a guy. Yeah. But they say tasting notes: caramelized honeycomb, bacon spice, and roasted candy nuts. Imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with walnuts, pistachios, cassia bark, and honey. So that'll be something coming out there. The bourbon guy, yeah, and that's not uncommon. We actually still at one of my spots here, even they have stuff lined up from Old Bourbon County as well. The funny thing is, like, so you go into some of these stores and it's like you'll see beers get dropped after a point. Like you'll walk in and you'll see a decent imperial stout that should be like $25, and like it's down to 11 or 12, or if they need to clean their shelf. They don't ever seem, except for Dave and his Jewel. Which I think might be connected to the mafia in some way, where they can just like slash everything in half. Usually you don't see Bourbon County get discounted. So a lot of times it does remain on shelves. Now, occasionally I've come across some different spots where I went to New Jersey before and I've seen some stuff where it was on the shelf and it was marked down. And I was able to grab a couple of things there. But yeah, it's weird. And you would think by now that people may notice that, I guess. But at the same point, it's owned by AB and Bev, and AB and Bev's like, we got enough dollars coming from everything else. We'll go ahead and leave it the way it is. We're not going to cut prices. So I guess we're at the whatever they're feeling out there. But I will tell you, the one that got my attention was the double barrel stout. I mean, I do like big beers, but just because the double barrel stout, taste the notes: toasted marshmallow, warm vanilla, pronounced oak finish, imperial stout aged in the Heaven Hill, as you mentioned there. I do like to get some of those flavors in the stout when it has like that marshmallow type feel to it. It adds like a little bit of a soft type feel, which is really nice. I mean, again, 16.9 bottle, probably just do the one. Could do more. Probably not recommended to do more, but that's going to be one that's going to be a nice little smooth one there. The chocolate praline sounds interesting. I've got Bourbon County stouts now in this cellar as it is. I haven't even cracked open yet. So it's almost like, do I go out and get these? Because I got, and Dave knows this, I'm not a person that goes and stands in line and gets stuff. If I go to a store and this happens to be there, then I'll pick it up. But I'm like, I have maybe a couple boxes full of Bourbon County stout now. So it's almost like I collect them, but I'm not drinking them. So I'm almost like, do I keep getting them? But then it's like, I think there's a fear that you have when you're doing stuff that you skipped a year or something, and someone's like, "Oh man, that one flavor they came out with was so great," and it's like, I should have got that one when I had a chance. So yeah, it's kind of like we're kind of in that part of a mode where it's like we don't want to miss anything that's too good. But the base version is interesting because they're doing the 4 10-ounce bottles. Yeah, and I don't know what the price is going to be on that, with them doing it that way versus having the 16.9, which is usually $9.99 to $13.99, depending wherever you were. It was going to be something where it's like 20 for the 4 10-ounce or something like that and everything. But a lot of people just like having the base version. I think the base version delivers nicely. So I don't know. Some people don't want to drink the full bottle, so I guess that kind of works along those lines. Although I'm so used to the stovepipe cans now, it's like 16 is nothing to me. Yeah. As we see 19.2 and they're up in the ABV on stuff, I'm like, what's that? That's nothing. I got to drink 2 of those now to get to the one I had before. So yeah.
Yeah, because Revolution, we're talking a lot about Revolution today, but they released the first of their Deepwood series last week, and part of the initial package was last year's Death Star, and that's in the stovepipe. And then they have their 15th anniversary beer that's with a different kind of wood in the stovepipe. So I'm kind of saving that for a special occasion. But yeah, like the regular D-Star stovepipe, all right, I'm good to go. That's my NyQuil for the night.
Yeah. All right, Betty Ford.
Yeah.
And then on the other two, so just to hit them real quick, the Brand Cherries Jubilee Stout. Taste and notes, it says burnished cocoa and vibrant dark. I don't even know what burnished cocoa. Like, who talks that way? And vibrant dark stone fruit with a caramelized citrus finish. Imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels, finished in cognac, which I do like cognac, with Montmorency cherries, citrus, and panela. No idea what panela is, but I'm not unwilling to try it and see what it tastes like.
Let that make you have a drive up for Fobab this year.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? But it does say flavors of candy dark cherry, soft vanilla, and caramelized citrus finish. So that's pretty good. And the praline stout, it has on here rich fudge with toasted, again, marzipan and chewy toffee. I'm not sure what marzipan is, but okay, we'll go with it. And cocoa nibs, hazelnuts, almonds, cashews, and dates. Not a big fan of dates, but it's funny. Beer does different things to you. So I'm not a fan of coconut usually, but I can drink coconut in stouts and be okay. Not a fan of black licorice. I can drink barley wines and be okay. So it's interesting just how you can pick up different things and be okay with beer. But yeah, Bourbon County on the way. So prepare yourself, folks.
With your stouts, are you more of a fruited stout, like where you have your cherries and raspberries? Are you more of the pastry stout kind of guy?
I would say I'm probably more of the pastry stout kind of guy. I don't mind the other one, but you got to be careful because you can do the cherry, and you've seen this before. If you overdo it too much, overhand it, it can taste like medicine. Trying to get it down, right? And I've had stouts where it's just like, I don't want to sit here drinking like lozenge or whatever. So I do like the pastry. I try to monitor how much of the pastry I have because obviously if you're having pastry, you're having a lot more calories. You're having a lot more of the Wilford Brimley effect that might pop up with diabetes or something like that. So you have to flow things in and out. But I also like the classic, just, the classic dry Irish stouts always good. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be a big stout, just a nice chocolate, roasted, caramel, whatever experience is fine for me too. So, yeah. But this stout, I'm like, definitely more in the pastry category and definitely hitting for sure. And so, Surly Darkness Day, October 4th. We're going back to the 750 milliliter and eliminate cans. So, the 750 milliliter, is that the 16.9 bottle?
No, that's like a wine bottle.
The 25.4 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the wine bottle is. I thought 750 was.
Wow, 750 milliliter? Man, oh man. Let me take a look here. Yeah, it's a 25-ounce bottle. So they're going to the big bottles on that one. So what are you thinking about that?
Those tariffs hit hard up in Minnesota. Yeah, they're like, F this, we're getting some glass.
Well, if you can kick it over to being able to go to the glass versus the cans, I mean, not every brewery can kind of do that, which is kind of interesting now because I don't know if we got the tariffs going into effect next week or not going into effect. They were supposed to be August 1st, and then it's like backing off from it. So I don't know what's all going to happen. I know that there's concerns, and actually the Brewers Association was just in D.C. to do a march up the steps or whatever, and they were going to meet with people there about some of the concerns from the industry. And when it happened before, and I mentioned this when we did the tariff episode, they cost them like $1 billion because of the tariffs back in the day. So, there's a lot of concern around what's happening there for sure. Nobody really knows. It's like you go to sleep and you're thinking one thing, you wake up, it's another. So, so trying to run a business under those type of restraints is kind of crazy. But so Surly is out of Illinois as well.
No, they're Minnesota.
They're Minnesota, so they're going to the big bottle. Have you had the Surly beers? Are you familiar with them?
I've had the Darkness before, which is excellent. And, I mean, everything I've had from them has been good. I haven't had a lot lately, and I know before, this is maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they were doing some, like, anti-union stuff, which I'm not a big fan of as a union member, so I haven't had a lot of their stuff recently, but it's always been good what I've had.
Okay. It's funny, whenever I hear darkness, and we got a brewery here, darkness as well. It's like I think two things. Either one, hello, darkness, my old friend, or I think Charlie Murphy. So it's like those are two darkness references I think of whenever I see darkness out there. But no, but October 4th. So if you're a big fan of Surly, that's something to definitely keep in mind when that actually comes out, when they release that. And we were talking earlier, I didn't put a thing out there, but I can mention it. But October 4th will be in Indiana, Columbus, Indiana. For those of you that are fans of 450 North, they'll be doing the Corn Maze Beer Fest, which is basically a beer fest in a corn maze. I don't know if you have to finish the maze or you just stop whatever beers you like and you're like, I just hang out here for the rest of the day. But that'll be something there. I may actually be going. I may have a few people that may be going as well. But that sounds like a fun experience. I know Todd that does the happy hour stuff with me. He's been there before to one. So, yeah, I mean, 450 North, they seem like they got their stuff together now. Although somebody said the other night, like the other week, about them not having the ABV on the can. I'm like, well, they kind of ran into trouble with ABV before, so maybe they're putting it out there now. Maybe they're playing safe, but we're not going to say what the ABV is, which I believe ABV should be on everything, just like the date, which if you saw the unboxing video Dave sent me earlier, I was a little surprised. I still got big love for Revolution, but how do they not have the date on the one beer that I pulled? The other ones, I found the date, and I'm like, the date wasn't on the Imperial Stout one. It was like it wasn't. Really? Yeah, it was like I looked all over that can.
Oh, they just canned that like 3 weeks ago, so you're good.
I'm like, you guys slipping over there? I'm like, come on, give me. You got not the date. I'm sorry, the ABV.
Okay.
The ABV was on. Like, how does that not happen? And it was like right there, bright on the other can. The ABV
it might be on the box because I have a 4-pack of that, so I sent you one of them. So I'll have to look on the box. But that's a good beer.
Yeah. I have no doubt about it with Revolution. That's going to be a good beer. It's just like, come on. I'm just like, bruh, you got to give me the ABV.
I'll look at the box and I'll get back to you after this airs. So I'll have to check out the box. I kept the box.
Yeah, but I knew because it was part of that series, it's going to be a good amount. I just didn't know what the number was. But
it starts with a 1. Yeah.
But so rolling to the next story here, and I got to give a shout out, and I was trying to put it in the mix there because Cincinnati kicked ass at the 2025 U.S. Open Beer Championship, where the Cincinnati breweries came home with 50 medals. Now, let me put this in perspective. The state of Ohio only has 70. Cincinnati, we got to be tired on those shoulders carrying the whole state on there. I tell you, taking home 50. What Chicago do? What Chicago had where
was this festival held?
Just because we had people from all over the country. We had over 8,000 entries from all over the country. But I mean, it was in Oxford, Ohio. I see what you guys. Okay. I see where you're going with it, but still,
maybe the thumb was on the scale or something. I'm just saying, I think I'm going to call the pillow guy up because we need to do an investigation of this because I'm looking at the whole scene. I pulled up the list. I have 10 sheets of paper here for all of the winners. Look at this sad little sheet for Illinois. We only got 19 in the state. Now, all 19 of these are great beers, but I'm thinking the election was rigged. I think this is fake news. It was held in Ohio. But big congratulations to all of the winners. If you deserved it or not, congratulations.
If you deserved it or not, take a little dig there. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of shocked. I knew that we had 50, And then I was like, well, how much did the state actually have? And then I found out the state had 70. So I'm like, wow. I mean, like I said, I told people Cincinnati is kind of like this little beer mecca that people don't know about in the country that we have so many great beers coming out. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, not Bill Cosby's pudding, not pudding, but in the pudding itself. They actually put some great stuff and some great breweries that actually pulled out some things. And, I went through the list and I'm like, there's so many breweries I still need to get out to. I haven't seen, like Third Eye Brewing. Got to give them props, out of Hamilton, out of Sharonville. They do some great beers. We always enjoy their beers when we do the beer festivals and stuff. They ended up taking home 8 of the 8 awards. And they do great beers across the board, right? They have the Dark Aura peanut butter beer that won gold. Their double Astral was a chocolate cocoa beer, but they also won gold for their milkshake IPA. They had a kettle sour. They got bronze, the Funky Diablo, which I like that name, the Funky Diablo. They have a lot of good stuff. They won blended barrel aged beer. They got a bronze for that one. So shout out to them. We got Urban Artifact, always a great brewery. Urban Artifact is setting the tone across the country for a lot of these sour and wild type beers. They ended up taking home 5. People know about them. They won for a bronze for their pickle beer. They won a gold for their astronaut food, which is a great beer. They won for their Mount Giona specialty beer. They also won for a non-alcoholic. They got a silver for non-alcoholic. So again, the NA beers are coming into play there as well.
Nice. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, well, one of the breweries I have to get to. I haven't gotten over to yet. That's doing a fantastic job. They're a little bit newer. Wandering Monsters Brewing. They won gold for a maple barrel aged Viator Obscura, which is their breakfast stout. Anytime you put maple in a stout, I'm pretty much on board. Yeah. So, and then they won silver for their triple chocolate cocoa beer, which was actually pretty good, I'm sure, as well. But Sam Adams we have here, they ended up getting the award for silver for their peach fruit beer. Rheingeist is probably one of the more interesting stories. So Rheingeist, when they first started really putting beers out here in Cincinnati, they almost fell into that label of just being an IPA brewery. And it's like, no, they do stuff outside of just IPAs. And they show where they can do the stouts, they do the barley wine, they do all the different styles. And they actually got recognized by winning like 6 different awards they picked up. But like their Wowie, which is an American style fruit beer, it's kind of an interesting one. I've had that one as silver. There's a review on my channel from that one. It's almost like a hybrid of a cider and a beer. It's pretty fantastic that they actually put together on that one. They won gold for their mango bubbles, which their bubbles is a style fruit beer. They just did an imperial bubbles, which I think is like 8 or 9%, which is pretty good as well. But their Night Whale, which is a rye barrel aged stout, rye barrel aged porter, strong porter. That one comes in at 12.5%. That one ended up winning like a bronze, which is actually a pretty good series. I mean, just a lot of good stuff. Brink Brewing, I don't talk enough about Brink Brewing. I need to get more of their beers. They ended up winning like 6 different awards. Fretboard, they had won that one, and shout out to them. But if this is on tap, this past week we lost Ozzy Osbourne, who was one of the people that passed away. They won for their Crazy Train, which is a Belgian pale ale, which Belgian pale ale is something. But if they got that out there, they're probably selling out like crazy right now as people remembering Ozzy and stuff too. So just a lot of great breweries doing stuff. Esoteric, they're having their 5-year anniversary this weekend. They had a gold for their specialty wheat beer. So, I mean, hands down, Cincinnati's doing some work. They doing some work. That's what I'm saying. They doing some work. What you got, Chicago?
Well, we've got thick thighs and luscious eyes. That's a gold medal winner right there. But what I like about the list from Illinois is, like, everybody associates Chicago, but like the majority of these breweries that are on here are all outside of the city. So that's cool. So maybe we just didn't need to enter because we knew we were good. But big congrats. But no, Thick Thighs and Luscious Eyes from Hop District. That was a gold medal winner in the Imperial Stout Porter category. I mean, there's a lot of great ones here. Ike and Oak, they don't get recognized enough. More Brewing kills it. Everything they put out is great. Brother Ships took home a couple awards. So, no, absolutely. Congratulations to everyone. I mean, it's a prestigious honor. You know, that's the U.S. Open's kind of like the GABF. It's something you just, hang on your tap room. It's something, no one could ever take away from you. And big congratulations to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that won there, it was great. I mean, it was kind of like, it was funny when I was at CBC in Indianapolis, which next year it is in Philadelphia, and I do plan to attend. And Dave, you should try to attend as well. The award show was like just this great thing to be in that presence of. And there was one person that won an award, and they were from Japan. Like they were nominated, but it was like, then they won, and it was one of the person that came out was one of the female brewers, but it was just like the shock and the surprise, and literally started crying. Like, I mean, it's just people are passionate about these beers they're putting out there, so it makes a difference when they get recognized and rewarded for it. So it was great to be part of that experience to see. But brewing is a job of passion and love. Because you're not most likely going to bank and become like a millionaire off of it, right? But it's just you have that passion. You just want to share your love for what you're doing and, make a decent living. But at the same point, your whole thing is about providing a good beer, good service, and being able to do that, which is great. So for all the people that actually put in the 8,000 entries, congrats to them for even entering. And then to the winners that pulled it out, congrats to them too. All of them deserve a hand on that for sure.
I'm going to crack open while we're talking because I'm out. So I'm going to crack open the Morvolution right now while you're finishing up that. But my glass was empty, so I need to crack one open.
Are you thinking I can't finish this real quick? I can definitely do that. So Dave is going to crack open the Morvolution. Mentioning the ones that have success while he's actually doing that, one of the stories that came out of the Midwest, which is kind of an interesting story. Royal Docks. So they're out of Northern Ohio. Apparently, it seems like they're kind of on their last leg. There's been some things that have been happening. There's been maybe some bad management that took place from what it's showing, and they maybe had to close their door. But it's interesting because I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, they were seen as one of the top craft breweries upcoming. They were like one of the top 50 craft brewers. Everybody was pumped up about them. And then they're at a point now where they probably got to shut down. And it's just interesting because doing a brewery nowadays is so competitive, but at the same point, you can't just, I feel like there's a thing where people thought they could make beer from their kitchen, from their garage, whatever, and go and start a brewery. And it's not as easy as what people may think it is. And it's kind of a crazy type story to know you were one of the top up and coming breweries, and now you might have to close your doors. And then when you look inside stuff, well, yeah, you were like cooking the books, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. And so I feel bad for them. It's just one of those things. It's just like, you got to put it in. It's like, just because you can make a good beer batch of something doesn't mean you can maybe run a brewery.
Like, and I know nothing about like this brewery, but were the people that started this, were they beer people or were they money people? Because I feel like we get a lot, especially as craft beer started taking off 10 years ago, you had people just looking at this as an investment, where in the early days of craft beer, these were just brewers and people that homebrewed and loved it. Then they weren't out to, make $1 billion on a sale, but hey, if they did, good for them. But I think that, we see a lot of like money people into this, and the beers are just, I mean, they're okay, but they're not great.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I mean, if you go back and you look at, say, Platform, platform out of Ohio that ended up selling to AB InBev. Platform had some decent beers. And then once they actually got recognized, they sold to AB InBev and they were pretty much out. But they actually had a goal of trying to sell and to be out. But they used to make some decent beers. When you look at what Royal Docks was doing, it seems like they were actually trying to make good beer. And it's mentioned that in the lawsuit, there was a legend of fraud and breaches of agreement against between the owners, so to speak, and led to the closure of their Canton taproom in the Cleveland location. And so if you pull them up now, you're seeing a lot of stuff happening. And like you mentioned, like you saw like people were buying like 12 packs or 6 packs at a certain discount or whatever. It's just a bad situation. And it's kind of like, I think they were trying to be out there and do beer, but then it just didn't work out. And then they were trying to do what they could do to stay alive. And it's not easy. It's a lot of it gets over. Maybe it's an owner dispute that's taking place, but it's kind of got like the workers and all of them are kind of in this thing where they're kind of holding pattern, like what's going on. Yeah. And then you're pulling stuff up and it's like the writing's on the wall and it's just like, yeah, you can't function that much longer. They pretty much make it seem like everything's about to shut down, which is sad. Like I said, to go from 5 years ago, hey, you're one of the top 50 craft brewers in the country to like, now you got to close your doors. I mean, that's just,
yeah. I mean, when crazy. You sent me the, article, and stuff, I'm looking at it, I'm pulling stuff up and I'm seeing they got $20 case sales and, it's like 20, 30. And I think there was one that was 40. Mm-hmm. But if you're selling a case of beer for $20, you're losing money unless it's like, water.
Yeah.
But, craft beer, $20 a case, that's something that you find at Jungle Gyms, or I get one of my Costco deals. But a small independent brewery is never going to make it selling beer for that.
No, that's what we put under the Rod J deal area, right? So, yeah. Welcome, Josh. Great to have you here, my friend, as someone that's been doing a show about craft beer for 11 years. Oh, okay. Well, definitely have to check you out. And almost 600 episodes, Mr. Money 10 years ago. Not saying us, but saying about the breweries. He says breweries. Lord, I can't spell, which is fine.
I'm drinking Josh. Josh, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking 18% ABV. I'm just happy I can read the whole thing there. So, no, it's all good. You're right. I mean, it's almost a timing type thing. 10 years ago, if you were actually doing this, you had that great upscale. But now, it's definitely more competitive. You have to know your product. You have to be able to know how to market. You have to know how to do business functions. We've all seen John Taffer and doing Bar Rescue, going into some of these places. Which, when I first started watching Bar Rescue, I will say I thought it was all fake. I'm like, no, like these people can't be really doing this or that or everything. And then when I started to go to places and actually look for myself and kind of more pay attention. Yeah, there's a lot of people where there's bad training or not doing stuff the way you need to do. And a business you were going to that ends up closing down and it's just like, you have no idea what. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Well, now I understand what happened there. So
yeah, like we're beer people. You go to like a restaurant that's not a brewery and they're serving you beer in a dirty glass with, you see all the bubbles on the inside or the tap lines aren't cleaned. It's just like, I don't care how good your food is. If you think this little of me as a consumer that you're just pushing this off, I don't need to go there anymore.
Yeah, and actually, with you mentioning that, if I can find it here, let's give a little talk about the Dirty Glass Mafia, because if you got a glass and you got bubbles sticking to the side of it, now if you're a consumer, okay, you don't know any better. You're just putting a picture on Instagram.
Yeah,
but when you're the brewery and you're putting a picture out there, and a Dirty Glass Mafia is showing up on your stuff, you always don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Figure that out. Talk to somebody, working with somebody in marketing, whatever you got to do. It's just like, I see breweries put pictures out sometimes, and I'm like, dude, that's not the best quality that you want to have out there for your beer.
It just makes me not want to go there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's like, you know what? There's a lot of breweries out there that know what they're doing. Yeah. I'm going to take a pass.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's putting a bad image out there for one. It's almost as bad as. And we had this talk when I was at CBC with some of the people. Going to talk to someone at the bar, and you're asking about certain beers, and they're like, "I don't know. I just served a beer."
Yeah.
Like, okay, you work here. You don't know what you have on tap. You don't know what the different things are. Like, you got to make your consumer base know what's going on if you want to actually be a successful business, right? It's like talking with people, and we were talking about this the other day. I think I was talking about it with actually Tim Weaver, and we did the Weaver. I did a live stream with him and what he does for Brandon for breweries this past Sunday. If you guys haven't seen that, check that out. But it's like you go to a thing and you expect the people to actually know what you're doing, right? And it's like if you go to a fish restaurant and you ask about the fish, you expect that person serving, oh, yeah, the fish came in fresh today. The fish came in yesterday. Whatever it may be, you should know what you're actually providing to your patron. And it's crazy on how some of the breweries hire some people. And I can't put it on the people. I put it on management for not training their people on how to actually present and to put their product in the best light. Because if you got two breweries and one brewery is actually being that much more interactive than another, and their beer can be less, maybe slight quality than what the other one is, chances are people are going to go to the other brewery because it's more interactive, it's more fun, it's more involved. And they're like, you know what? This other brewery is too head up in the clouds, whatever you want to say. There's other words I can use I'm not going to use on the show here, but it's kind of like you got to make an experience. And it's like you got to make, in the way brewing is done nowadays, you actually have to make it a point of a reason why somebody will want to come to your brewery. Because there's too much out there. Like I said, Cincinnati got 50 medals in the awards, but we have 70 different breweries within the loop here at least.
So wait. Let's go back to this for a second. You got 50 medals out of 70 brewery? Come on.
No. We got 50. We got 50 out of 70. We got 50. The state took 70, but we took 50 in Cincinnati. But we got like 70 breweries throughout. Now, keep in mind.
That's like a participation trophy at this point. Come on.
No, not every brewery won. So some breweries were winning 8 or 9 themselves. So other breweries weren't winning. I mean, we just had one of the, like, Voodoo closed down recently, which is, Voodoo's a weird situation anyway. They're like part of this whole, I don't know if you got Voodoo there in Illinois. They're in a lot of states where it's kind of like a franchise ownership type thing. But I'm like, I've been to Voodoo, and I'm like, you don't make it appealing for people to want to come to this brewery. It's like, you come here, nobody really greets you or whatever like that and everything. You almost have to search someone out to get a beer. It's like, I feel like some breweries are popping open, but they have no hospitality skills, and they don't know how to train their staff to be able to do so. To see some close, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And even when they have good beer, it's like, well, you didn't make it an experience for your people actually coming to the brewery. In the world that we're in now and the competition that we have, you have to make it an experience. And I think that's where some breweries drop the ball.
Is it breweries, though, or is that just society in general? Because, I mean, you see that in every facet of customer service. Like, no matter where you go, it's just like, how is this person in customer service? You know, I don't mention where I work, but like, you know where I work.
Oh, yeah.
And some people know where I work. And I look at some of my coworkers with my mouth open, like, how did you get past anything?
I think I don't know. I would say it's like generational, but generational might be a part of it. And mentality might be a part of it. It's just, I used to have one of the guys I used to work with back in the day. He used to end up being one of the managers, and he went out and did some other stuff with our company. But it's just like, he used to get so pissed when he like had to manage people, and they'd be like, well, I don't know if I really handle that. He's like, pick up the phone and just do your job. Just do your job. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Bill Belichick, do your job. Yeah.
And he would get so pissed at people. But it's like, do your job, but you want people to do their job. Make sure you're training them to do the job as well. Most people, I went to one of the chains, and I don't care. I'll say it was like Wings and Rings. So I went there one night, and I had some wings. And I was getting a beer. So
they win the medal too?
No, they didn't. Come on. Start giving them to everybody. BW3 be up next.
Yeah.
But I got a beer and she served it to me, right? Like this much head, like just
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I drank it and I was like, next one, I was like, and I noticed that she was being told something by someone else. I was asking her, so are you like in training on what you're doing right now? Just curious. And because I do a lot of stuff around beer. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it's interesting because you gave me that beer, but you don't really put this, like, you should have like an inch ahead or so in there to open up. And she told me, she was like, yeah, she's like, I know. That's how I was pouring before, and I got basically reprimanded for it because corporate doesn't want to do it. Corporate wants you to get that little thin edge because they're thinking if they put a head on it, people are going to complain because you're squeezing the beer. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you want to have the head in there to open up you want to open up the aroma, you want to open up the flavor. Two, you don't want your people feeling bloated because guess what? They feel bloated. They're not ordering more stuff. They're leaving.
Yeah.
And by having that head on there, you're actually allowing the gases to come all out and and it was just like. The sad thing is she knew how you should serve a beer, and the person that was telling her how to serve it didn't know. But that was her manager or corporate. And it's just
what do? You're not going to argue with your manager because you probably need the job.
Yeah, I could literally go into bars and be like the two Bobs. Like, so what do you say you do around here?
Yeah.
Start like cutting people out like that don't know what they're actually saying. It's sad when you actually know people that know how they should do stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to do it the right way. So I told her, I said, well, you tell your corporate, because the manager was down there. I said, you tell that manager, because, I don't talk lightly. So I'm like, you tell that manager they don't know how to serve beer, because that's not how you want to serve beer and stuff too. And stuff. I gave her one of my cards or anything too. Like, but it's kind of like people are in positions they don't need to be in as well. It's just like, and then you wonder why your place is like, I don't know, an eighth full. Not a lot of people. I mean, nobody's coming in. Like, you guys are running all these specials and people still aren't coming in. They're about to go over to the taco place or some of these other places and stuff. Like, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. But it's like, so sometimes I feel bad for the employees when they're in that kind of position. But sometimes it's not on that, but it's on the management. It's on the trainer. I literally went to Virginia Beach. We went on vacation a couple of years ago. And the waitress I looked on the menu. I said, well, let me get this beer. It says it's a stout or whatever. She served it to me. I'm like, well, this isn't a stout. And she's like, well, it says it's a stout. And that's what we were told. I'm like, this is like a golden yellow color. I'm like, this is not a stout. I'm like, this is an IPA. And she was like, arguing, and I was like, I literally had to pull up a picture of Untapped to show her what the beer should look like. And basically, the manager never changed the labels, and they were just listening to a sales guy that really wasn't telling them what they needed to be told. So it's just like, sometimes the employees are caught in the middle. So, so it's kind of interesting. But I'm like, if you're running an establishment, make sure your people know what the hell is going on, because that's how you end up in a position like Rural Docs is probably in on some of this stuff. And then they got to fudge numbers or do whatever they're doing. So it's sad. It's sad to actually see. I don't want anybody to go down. I want everybody to succeed and keep raising that beer level. I like to get us to 10,000 breweries at some point. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about this beer real quick because
I'm going to pour mine while you do it. So
this is excellent. Like, this is just, I get like a lot of biscuity, bready notes from this. So I mean, it's really good. Like, according to the notes here, you get like lemon, which I could kind of see in there. I saw on the email from Binny's, you're supposed to get like notes of Earl Grey tea, which I don't get. But I think for a Pilsner and a Polish Pilsner, this one from Moors and Revolution is fantastic. Like, this is something I would drink. You could crush this, 5%. It's going to taste like water after that you just drank, Rod. But this is really good.
I'm just wondering how many people are going to be screwed up when they see Polish style Pilsner or the black guy on the can.
Yeah.
That's going to screw some people up. But Morris does some great beer out of Chicago. It's nice they teamed up with Revolution. So let me go ahead and get. I feel like sometimes the Pilsners get overlooked, but everybody's so IPA centric nowadays. Nice classic, a nice, crisp, dry, clean type beer can fit in.
Yeah.
I'm talking like James T. Kirk. Enterprise. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing that. But
pause after every word you say. Yeah.
I think the 18%. Dragon's milk is kicking in.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Oh, that is clean and refreshing.
Yeah.
It's got the notes definitely have the what I would call like the barnyard smell, where you have like the farm type thing, almost like a nice appeal, like Saison, where it's got the grain coming on the nose. But that taste, that the way it hits.
I mean, it's just a phenomenal taste in beer. Like, I love
so crisp and clean. Almost like a little bit of a grassy note in there. Get the
I love that, like, bready, crackery, like biscuit, like, you know, I love that malt taste out of this.
It's like Will Ferrell in Old School, the way it hits your lips. Great movie, by the way. If y'all haven't seen Old School, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but yeah. So and it's got a nice lightness to the body, not really heavy, but not thin, which you always worry about being too light and being too thin, but it's got a nice body feel to it.
Yeah, I would think like the body's like medium. Yeah. It's not like thin, it's not heavy. It's like it hit that sweet spot.
Like this is a nice one. Although I wouldn't recommend cutting the grass nowadays when it's like midday because it's been so freaking hot everywhere. But like a nice, after you cut the grass, you do the lawn type work, like a nice beer to kick back and chill with. And this again is another one that you can sit around a fire pit and enjoy a few of these as well and be in good shape.
At 5%, definitely could have a couple of these.
Yeah, but I like the lemon feel coming through.
Mm-hmm.
I like the aftertaste. It has a nice break at the end after on the finish.
Yeah. I mean, the hops they use are these Lubieski hops, which I've never heard of them before.
I've never heard of them either, yeah.
But I would like to try something else with those in there because I think this has got a really good flavor.
Definitely agree, Josh. Rev is world-class for sure. They always do some great things. I mean, if you saw my unboxing video earlier, I'm upset they had ABV on one of the cans, but, you know, outside of that, they're solid.
I might hit pause on this, and I'm going to look at the box in a second.
Yeah, not usually something they usually miss, but it was just kind of weird when I saw that there because everything else was fine. But, yeah, this is a nice tasting beer, a nice one. Like, if you're going to pair this up, this is a nice one to pair with something a little bit more lighter, I think. Like, if you were having some type of maybe – well, I tell you what, you could do it with, like, salad or, like, you know. But you could also do this, like, with ribs. Yeah. So that could be heavily light. This could be actually something nice that you could have something there. You could do it with a steak and enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I was even thinking like a fish and chips or something like that.
Fish and chips would work for it, too. Yeah. Yeah, this is good stuff. Thank you again for sending my way for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do some good stuff. Revolution, Moores. I haven't been there yet. And Moores is the one that teamed up with Steep Ravine for the spot they're doing. Is that am I thinking of that right?
You know, and I'm sorry, and I apologize, but I'm on Dayquil, so. You got to have to kind of forgive me, but I'm going to pull it up right now real quick.
Dave's getting hammered tonight, y'all. Yeah. He doesn't have an oil change at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No. Yes, it is Moores. So there, and it's actually close to me. The old Ravinia. It's on. It's called the Diversity House. So it's Steep Ravine and Moores. I was there at the grand opening for that. I need to go there and get something to eat because the food when it was Ravinia was excellent. I heard they have a new chef, and I've heard the food menu is great, but I have not tried it personally for myself. But everything I've had from Moores has been good, and it's nice to see them get the Sam Adams thing, get this deal with Revolution. I could find them now at my Jewel, at my local grocery store. You could get Moores beer, so that's really cool. But like this beer here, absolutely killer. I would drink this all the time if it was available.
Like if I was out, we get beers when we go out golfing or something like that. Everything like this would be an easy beer to drink along the lines. while you're out there. But a shout out to them. Shout out to Steve Ravine as well, and our friend Mal that's over there is one of the managers. All the stuff they had to go through with the whole Ravinia, switching over to Steve Ravine, all that kind of BS. But hopefully they're doing well also. We talked about the Emerald IPA. Again, New Holland has that out there, which was an interesting jump for New Holland adding an IPA into the Dragon's Milk line. So I've actually had it. I did it last week on the show. I have a review coming out on that one, but it's interesting. It definitely is flavorful. 11% ABV. They didn't say double IPA, triple IPA. They just said Emerald IPA, and it's got some nice feel to it. So make sure to stay tuned for that as I share that along the lines upcoming. But again, Dave, you said you don't get that in your area. So New Holland, we need to get you doing some stuff here next door to your neighbor in Illinois. Help him out. Help a brother out.
Yeah.
Pilot project. Opened a new location in Wrigleyville last week. Pilot project. And I kind of like the idea because you brought this one up too, where they are actually including Brewer's Kitchen, Standard Goods, Brutalist Brewing Cooperative, Funky Town Brewery, which we talked about earlier, Azadi Brewing, and Donna's Pickle Beer. So they're doing all this stuff together, which at a point helps to strengthen a lot of the independent breweries that don't have to worry about selling out to the big breweries, right? So what's going on with Pilot Project there?
I mean, it's a cool location. Now, this is their third. Now, this one, they don't brew beer at. If I, read everything correctly, I'm trying to get a hold of them to do something, get a project together with them. But like they have one in Wisconsin, they have one here, and there's another. They have a couple. They're like incubator breweries. So all these breweries brew there. They have a big tap room where you could, get something on tap from all of these breweries, get something to take home. And I have had everything except Brutalist. So I have not had that one. I can't speak for them, but every other brewery on this list is world class. I mean, even like the pickle beer, which I'm not a huge fan of, the one from Donna's, I thought was really good. That was something for me, pickle beers is one and done. I can't drink like 3 pickle beers in a setting, but like that one was enjoyable. But Azadi, everything else that's on there, Brewer's Kitchen. I'm going to grab a Brewer's Kitchen in a second. They're all world-class breweries. This is like they say like a 4 or 5 minute walk away from Wrigley Field, so you can go there before or after the game, have some great beers. So I'm excited to that they open. I want to go check it out for myself. Hopefully pretty soon. Hopefully the Cubs won. They were getting their asses handed to them by the White Sox tonight. But,
the White Sox of all teams, yeah.
So, but no, I'm like, big congratulations to them for opening this location. I know they've been working on it a while. I've been going back and forth with one of their people, trying to get something set together where, they can come on and talk about it. But no, big congrats to them.
Yeah. You mentioned the pickle beer. It's kind of interesting just because I've not really done a pickle beer as of yet. All the beers I've actually done over the years, I don't know why I haven't done a pickle beer. I like pickles. It just seems interesting. So Urban Artifact, I mentioned they got an award earlier for their pickle beer. I need to try it. I just need to get out there and
I'll have to get you one of those from Donna's because that was really good. And it's weird because I'm not a pickle person.
Yeah.
I don't hate them, but I don't want it on my burger or anything like that. But the one from Donna's was good, and I think it was distilled, and I could be wrong, but they had a barrel-aged one at Fobab that it was almost like having like a Reuben because you had that dark note to it with the pick. It was really good.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting thinking of all the beers we have now, and it's funny. You think back to what we're enjoying now, and I know Dave, you can understand. We think back to what our grandparents would have been drinking, right? So my grandparents, much like your grandparents, my grandparents were big Miller High Life people. As a little kid, give me a Miller High Life out the fridge, a little 8-ounce. Well, not even, was it an 8-ounce bottle? It was the small little bottles.
Yeah, those 7 point something.
7 point, yeah. So I sneak a sip here and there and stuff. But it was just, I can't imagine what they would think of all the beers they would see nowadays. Like, this is just freaking crazy that we have so many different choices compared to what they had back then. And the flavors and the different things that we're actually able to actually check out in beers. It's unprecedented just for like to be a beer. And I've said this before, to be a beer drinker at this time, you have so many options out there. And it's just like one of the questions I get often is if I think like if there's a bubble, like I don't think there. I think it's like cooking right now. Everybody's just coming up with different ways to put beers out there and try different things. I saw one of the guys earlier on a video talking about would you try this beer, and it was something with how they do the malt and someone has to spit it out or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. People were like, yeah, I'd give it a try. Blah blah blah. I'm like, I mean, when it goes into the boil, it becomes sanitary, but it's kind of a weird type thinking of some of the way these beers are actually done. But like coffee, they have some coffee like down in South America or whatever. I think it's something where it's like a goat or something shits it out, right?
It's
and like
a weasel.
Yeah, they take the beans and they use them. I'm like, I'm
gonna pass. You know what?
I've seen them create a beer from a woman's down under yeast. I guess people will try anything nowadays. That was. No. That was a beer they made a few years ago. We talked about on one of the shows, and I don't know. Like it's an interesting time for beer, and these different things coming out. So it's kind of like it's hard to rule out any beer, but it's kind of like boundaries are definitely being pushed.
Well, I could rule that one out.
Yeah. What it is to be a beer drinker in 2025, right? Yeah. So here's another story that took place. Let me go back up here. And interesting. So beginning of August, and we're talking about Missouri now, Urban Chestnut will relaunch several beers from the shuttered O'Fallon brand, started with their iconic pumpkin beer, which I'm okay with. I liked beers O'Fallon was making out of Missouri before they ran into the issues they ran into, but they do have someone now with Urban Chestnut that revived their brand. And it's kind of an interesting thing just because I did the thing on a review, I guess like a month or two, maybe like a month ago about Taft's, where Taft's had to close them, but they got taken over by Cannaline. They're keeping their name alive out there where they're doing like the Gavel Banger and different beers under them. But that might be something going forward. Like, what do you think about the different breweries that are now keeping people, follow breweries alive by still buying their recipes and putting stuff out?
As long as they're staying true to the original recipe and not just slapping the name on it to hopefully get some people, to buy it. If you're keeping the original recipe alive, good. I don't know. That's something we probably need to discuss with Brian over from 3-1 Pour. We'll get Brian on one of these episodes because he'll be able to delve more into that. But, it's good. Like, O'Fallon, they were big in the Midwest. I don't know if they were all over the country, but people knew their pumpkin beer. They knew their other beers. And if this helps, hey, great. I'm sure it's going to help Urban Chestnut. That's going to get more people to, buy their product. So it sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it helps to bring that back. But speaking of pumpkin beer, so I posted a thing on my Facebook page earlier. I haven't probably done a pumpkin beer. Well, I did one last year. It was like at one of the places I was at, and they had it on tap or whatever. But I haven't really sought out pumpkin beers for the last few years. Southern Tier. You gave me the old Godfather, I thought I was out, but then I'm getting pulled back in. They have made a Maple Warlock that's about to release. Maple Southern Tier Warlock Pumpkin Beer. Any thoughts on that? Because you got me with the maple already. So it's kind of like, all right, I'll come back, twist my arm. Was it the Futurama? Shut up, take my money, because I'm going to probably check it out. So. But it's interesting on the different twists coming out, which brings us to another thing. Oktoberfest beers and pumpkin beers are now hitting the shelves. So it used to be pumpkin beer will give you a couple weeks, then Oktoberfest beers will give. Now they're both hitting. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, because it's kind of crazy right now. And I love a good Oktoberfest beer. That's one of my favorite lager styles to actually enjoy. But it's interesting seeing them all come out now and starting to be released. And yeah, I don't know if you've seen them yet.
July.
It is.
It's mid-July. Like, I don't want to drink a fest beer when I'm talking because it's 95 degrees outside and you need to talc. Gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to drink an Oktoberfest when it's 95 degrees. And it's changed. And it's not just Oktoberfest. Christmas beers are out now at the end of September or October. So it's not just Oktoberfest.
I'm going to blame Great Lakes on that because they did their Christmas in July. And other people are like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's see if we can release something early.
But that's just like a day of festival. But like I remember like 10, 15 years ago, your Oktoberfest beers would come out around Labor Day, which Oktoberfest is in September in Germany. So,
and it should be September here too. Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So I'll give you Labor Day, but July? So if I go to Costco next week, I'll probably get those Summerfest deals again, where I get that case of Sierra Nevada Summerfest for $13, which is, hey, put it in the cart, $13. No, July's too damn early.
Well, Josh loves your comment. Says he's going to hug you on that one there. So it does seem to be early there. I mean, I'm not a huge person for pumpkin beers in July. I'm not a huge person for Oktoberfest beer. I think if I had to choose between the two, I would probably do Oktoberfest before I would do the pumpkin beer in July. But there's not a need for either to be out that early. You know, I can see getting them out second week of August like that. But it's competition. Everybody's trying to get stuff out ahead of the other people, right?
Yeah, so, you don't want to be the last person to come out with an Oktoberfest or a pumpkin beer because by that time you're tired of them. You've already had them since July.
Yeah. So that's where it's kind of crazy there. Johnson said Barrel put out a lime chocolate cinnamon beer. It was the worst.
Yeah, I can't see lime and it
was an IPA.
God. What the fuck was? Oh, sorry. What the hell was that?
That's basically when a brewer's like doing mushrooms at the same time or something like. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case there for sure. No, it's interesting though, just to seeing the stuff already hitting the shelf. I mean, we expect it now in July to have this actually coming out, but like I said, it used to be like you would get one here and then the other one will follow like a few weeks later, but now they're both hitting the shelves, and it's like I don't see somebody like here this week. It was 94 degrees. And you had the heat factor index where it made like 104. I don't see people saying, you know what would be good right now? A nice pumpkin beer or a nice October. Like, it's just like, no, that's like not the case or what people are usually looking for.
If I'm talking and I'm putting on a do-rag on the train to like get all the sweat off my bald head on top, no, I don't want to drink a pumpkin beer.
I feel like if it's that temperature, and again, a lot of, you, me, a lot of people that watch, we do a lot of the craft beer stuff, but I'm like, if it's that hot, fucking give me a Coors Light. It's like water, right? So just give me that. Like, I'm good, Just give me this Moors Revolution. I'm good with this. That would be good too. That would be great to actually have there. So it's interesting that they're actually hitting the shelves right now. So if you're seeing them out there, well, it's that time of year. An interesting thing that took place as well is Nevis brand. So they actually just inked a distribution deal where they're going to be targeted in the Midwest. So if you don't know about Nevis, they actually do hemp-derived THC beverages. I know we're a beer show, but THC is becoming one of those things that some of the beer breweries are starting to look at and infusing or working with, or it's I don't want to say they're looking at working at it, but it is definitely something that's being considered, I guess, out there, so to speak. Talking with Kate, I talking with Cape or not, that's something they always cover on a lot of stuff with the THC type drinks. It's going to be a part of the marketplace, but they are actually working now to have the THC beverages across states as Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. But I know, Dave, you can't partake in that kind of stuff, but it's just something interesting as we see more of the THC beverages hitting the place.
Yeah, now I was reading their press release, and they were talking about getting into grocery stores, which I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any THC product in my grocery stores. I don't know if I've seen it in convenience stores either, but that's not something I look for. So maybe I'm just missing it. But looking at this Nevis or Nevis, their company, I mean, they sell everything. Their main one, it's called Happy Apple, which is
Happy
5%.
Apple.
It's a 5%, so it's kind of on the low range. But they have some things that are it looks like it's in one of those like 5-hour energy drink type bottles where they're small.
Yeah.
And those little bottles are 100 milligrams. I'm like, yeah, that's going to get you.
That'll do it. That'll hit you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they even make the 5-hour energy thing anymore? I haven't seen those in ages. Okay.
Oh yeah. I have people at work that like swear by them. I'm like, dude, you got to look at your heart, man. You can't be drinking that shit. That stuff's going to give you a heart attack.
Yeah, in the 80s, they just popped a pill, but now they have it in drink form. So
we had our no-dos back in the 80s, but like these kids are chugging the Monsters and these 5-hour energy drinks. I'm like, dude, that's gonna kill you, my man.
Oh yeah, that'll catch up with you for sure.
Yeah,
it's funny. One of the shows I was watching this past week, I don't know if you've seen it on History Channel. It's with Henry Winkler, and it's basically about foods and different things that we had in our society that pretty much almost killed us, but it was still authorized type thing. So they talked about like, the playground. When we were kids, we had the merry-go-round on the cement, right? And we would see how fast they go. People would go flying, or we'd have like these roller coaster rides that were not safe at all. We'd have radioactive type kits or whatever that people would actually buy. Like literally you brought radioactivity into your house for this chemistry kit in the 50s. But one of the episodes talking about Four Loko, which was interesting, as they were talking about like the non-safety factor of the Four Loko, and they made it seem like it was going like, no, we still have that in states. You can still get Four Loko in states. So they're talking about the different things put together on that. Now it was like something that was set up to be like, why are we making this product? Like this is not good, But you talk about some of your stuff out there like that. It's kind of crazy. But I'm
going to grab one real quick here before we get going. So give me 1 second here.
Oh, you went to a third one now. Okay. Okay.
I'm good. It's Dayquil and beer. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? You're in the safety of your own house. So, yeah. So Dave's going to grab another beer there. And taking a look here on some of the other stuff, I'll wait for him to come back as we head down to the next topic, because he actually brought up something that I want to catch up with him. And if you guys are drinking out there, definitely let us know what you're actually drinking out there as well, so we can look to discuss there too. Go ahead and share that there in the comments. Said, but not the same Four Loko. I don't know if it's the same Four Loko or not, but it still got the taurine and the alcohol, and then it was like basically it's if you haven't seen it again, it's an interesting show to watch, just because again, me and Dave, we're Gen Xers. We went through a lot of shit back in the day that we probably shouldn't have had to go through, like and it shows like all these different things that we've done. Like they were talking about jarts, like the game of jarts, like how people were getting stabbed in jarts and stuff. And it's
I thought you said sharts for a second.
Yeah.
Dude.
but they were showing jarts, and they were showing all these, and it's just like it's about a show. It's a show about the things that we produce in America that weren't really safe, but we produced them anyway. And it's always funny because the reason they stopped producing them isn't usually because of a safety type thing. It's just because, nobody was buying it or something. It's kind of like, if people were buying it, we would let people keep still getting kind of screwed up on stuff, or just like some of the amusement parks, so some of the rides they actually had there that weren't safe back then, but people were still being put into them. I mean, we had the thing back in the day. You remember, Dave, where you would like be a circle at the carnival, and you were against the wall, and it would just go and the floor would drop. I don't know if they still have that ride or not anymore.
Yeah. And it's not like, and God bless you if you were a carnival worker, but it's not like carnival workers were following OSHA or anything like that.
No, they weren't.
And you would just like stick to the wall, and people would like puke, and like the flipping puke would just like go off to the side. Oh my God.
It's like if you had a carnival worker and you were doing something and something happened going bad, the carnival worker's like, huh. Never seen that happen before. That was their answer.
And he's got like a Marlboro, or no, he wasn't even doing a Marlboro. He was like a Paul Wall. He was doing some unfiltered like camel shit, like Paul Wall. He was just smoking those. Like, oh yeah, that's something new.
I mean, if you ever watched Joe Dirt, literally Joe Dirt was safer than the carnival workers we had growing up. We see all kinds of shit happen. It's like, yeah, that's not good. Faction Buffer Zone is my beer right now, and I am a Zennial, so same boat. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So what beer did you actually get there?
We were talking about it earlier. So this is Brewer's Kitchen, which is out of Pilot Project. And this one's really good. I've had this before. It's called Courtesy of Copenhagen. It's a lavender, lemon, and strawberry pale ale. So it's a little lower in ABV, but the flavors are really good, and it meshes well with the pale. Good summer beer. So I grabbed this.
Okay. Nice. Well, you grab another one. I'm going to grab another one. But if you want to talk about that one, that's fine there. Or you want to wait for me to come back before we talk about the Brewers Association report?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll talk about this beer.
All right.
So, yeah, definitely. Brewer's Kitchen in Chicago. I don't know if you can get them all over. I'm not sure where they distribute, but this Courtesy of Copenhagen's excellent. I don't get as much lavender, but I definitely get the lemon and the strawberry. I think it tastes really good. It's something I pick up like every summer. You get maybe a 4-pack of it. It's just a really good tasting beer. You can tell the color, little pinkish, so it's probably the strawberry there. But really, solid beer, nice beer for the summer. Definitely got to throw this one in the cart. I think it's really good. Yeah, that's a winner. Excellent beer. Oh, Rod's in charge of the chat. I can't see who else is commenting here. But Josh, I'll give you a hug, brother. So we'll need to hook up one day. I'll get you a hug. God, how far does he got to go to grab a beer? Dude. All right, we'll start typing what everyone else is drinking so we can see this in the comments. No, that's really good. What's the ABV on this? 6%, really good pale. Yeah, so Pilot Project, they're in Chicago, they're in Milwaukee, and the new one in Wrigleyville. So if you're in the Midwest, definitely pick up something from Brewer's Kitchen. Everything I've had from them has been really good.
Nice. Let me see. Josh says, sounds amazing. Send me some. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a lot of good beers. I'm actually going to crack open one before we shut down in a bit, but Courtesy, and I haven't done the upload of the unboxing yet. That'll probably come this weekend. But Courtesy of Firestone Walker, I'm going to check out their California IPA.
Oh, yeah.
That they actually sent along, and I'll have a review and stuff upcoming. But it was like so many beers in it. What beer do I choose? I'm like, The life of a person that does beers is kind of like, you have beers that you want to review, and you have beers you want to drink. So it's always a trying to figure out what actually to pull. So I'm like, oh, I can pull this one and just enjoy and get a feel of. And I haven't had an IPA tonight, so we'll go ahead and check this one out.
And like you were mentioning that, and sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but there's times you just want to sit and have a beer. You don't want to worry about putting on the camera or the microphone. Like, sometimes I just want a beer. I don't want to talk about it.
It's the weird thing that happens, and like everybody I kind of talk to that does like the channels or the reviews, like you literally have beers you want to review, and you have to buy beers that are going to be like your daily beers or beers to just grab and actually drink and stuff. And it's kind of like there's a dilemma that happens sometimes where it's okay, all the beers I got left is kind of like just the beers I want to actually drink or review. Oh, I'll just grab this one. I'll drink. I'll find it. And then you have it, and you're like, oh, this is such a phenomenal beer. I should have done a review on it. And it's like, now you go out and try to find it again. And sometimes you can't because we know craft beer, the nature of it. It's like, oh, that only comes out once a year. Son of a bitch,
And like, like for me, I'll go to like my place in cans where I'll buy like a mix pack. So I just grab one beer of that, and I'm like, I don't feel like setting up the camera. I don't feel like putting on a clean shirt. I don't want to do a video in like my white undershirt that I didn't work at all day. So
you just want to chill. Yeah.
And you have a sip of that, and you're like, God damn, is that good?
Yeah, the California IPA from Firestone Walker. This one comes in at 6.5% ABV. Firestone always has some fantastic stuff. And it's funny because usually I'm getting their Parabola or some of their specialty type beers. It's the first time I'm going to be going through some of their IPAs because they reached out and sent me the pack to take a look at and do a review on. And if you want to see details about the beer, make sure to check out the website because I put a write-up about the different beers there. But they have a mixed summer pack where they're doing different IPAs, 4 different ones. You get 3 of each, and this is one of the ones in there. So they're a solid company. They do a great job. Yeah. So I said, I'm in my tank top. Leave me alone, bro, and let me just drink. Most of the time. Yeah, right? Oh, this baby is dank. Oh, wow. I feel like dank is so overworked as a word nowadays for IPAs, but it's kind of like when it hits, it like hits. I mean, it's definitely resiny. You get the hops on the nose. Get that weed type feel, so to speak. I've heard the weed type feel, hops and weed are cousins. They're cousins.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a nice clear beer. I could tell from the
you look at it.
It's a West Coast.
It's West Coast, yeah. West Coast. I said I had my West Coast shirt on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, that's. In the world of IPAs that we live in now, with so many different IPAs that are out there, and people are trying to be all fruity and all, it's nice to have just a classic, just IPA version, and that's what Firestone Walker actually does on this one. It's this classic, dank, resiny. You get the little dry up front. You get a nice appeal from the hops. You're left with a nice aftertone of the flavor. Like right now, like I'm not drinking, but I still get the feel of the hops that are still flowing through me right now. And it's just a solid. I mean, Firestone Walker, they know what they're doing. I don't got to tell you guys, but they know what they're doing. But yeah. But one of the other stories we were looking at, so the Brewers Association, we had noted there, reported that beer volume is down 5% in craft in the first year of this year compared to last year. Were there more details on that at all, or was it just they're noticing a trend where right now sales are trickling down a little bit?
Yeah, I think there was more, but I mean, we're going to cut this off pretty soon, but it's just something that, we need to look at because like craft beer has been trending down little by little, year after year. And some breweries are getting into the THC business. We just talked about, the other company from Canada that's like reaching out. I know like Revolution here just put out a new THC beverage. So I think they're doing stuff like that. They're doing stuff like these ready to drink cocktails that they're trying to, like get some more market, which, is good for them. I don't know if like the down 5% is just kind of thinning the herd where too many breweries were opening up. It's something, just time is going to tell. We're both in major markets, so we don't have to go far to get a good beer. So hopefully, people that's in Wyoming, not to pick on Wyoming, but a more vast, wide open space is still able to get good craft beer where they are.
Yeah, I think that's where you run into some of the, I would say, craft beer deserts, so to speak, in some of the places where, and I always think back to one of the guys I know, Cody, who was out in North Dakota, where he used to have to travel 60 miles to get craft beer. Because there was nothing near him along those lines. I think you still have some of that stuff out there, but I feel like the 5% number, it's not a number I'm alarmed by. I just think like knowing that you have some of the younger generations maybe drinking a little bit less, doing other stuff that are now available to them. Plus, you've had an increase in some of the stuff, I think, in some of the spirits type area. And then what they're actually doing there, I mean, I feel like 5% is kind of like that, just gray area still. Like if it was 10%, 15%, it's still a margin for error. It's like 10%, 15%. Maybe it's a little bit something there, more of a trend. But I think 5%, you're gonna have a little bit of a drop off. I mean, you got older people that may have been drinking that might be passing away, and you got younger people not drinking as much. I don't know how else to say it, right? Like sorry, they left. They're going. They're not coming back. So, you have a little bit of a loss in there, so to speak. So it's kind of interesting. But again, it's like when I went to CBC, it was weird because where they saw stuff down, it's kind of like, we had these breweries, 300 brewery net loss last year or whatever. But it's kind of like, but it's kind of part of the whole business cycle. At the same point, I've seen breweries where breweries close, another brewery steps right in and takes it over. So it all depends on where you're actually at and what the stuff that's taking place is happening there.
And it's part of it is just thinning the herd. Like, here we've had Ballast Point, God, that's a whole nother show in itself.
Which is funny because I now see Ballast Point stuff, which is weird. So
but they opened when Constellation owned them. They opened this huge place in Chicago that was awesome, and after the pandemic, they shut it down. I don't think anybody's ever taken that over. They brewed stuff here. It was like a pilot brewery. Other breweries have closed, and it's not like we're lacking for any quality beer here. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's just a thing of the herd. You're getting the money people out because they're not getting the return on investment that they thought they were going to get 10 years ago.
Right.
I don't know, but there's still a huge amount of phenomenal craft beer.
Yeah.
Here in the States.
Yeah, I think the big thing for your area was, to me, the shocking thing was when Lagunitas pulled up stakes.
Yeah. But you saw that coming. Heineken bought it. Heineken now is the primary owner. They bought it because they, everybody at the time was a national brewery, and it's not anymore. Everybody is local. So does somebody in Tennessee, somebody that's not like in Petaluma, California or Chicago, are they looking for Lagunitas? Yeah, you could get Lagunitas in every grocery store, 7-Eleven or whatever, but if you're somewhere else that's rural, I'm going to go for my local brewery.
Yeah. Yeah, I get Lagunitas at our store and stuff here. I think I just drank Maximum Colossus, I think, last week or during one of the episodes. But it's what else? But it was just weird because I had been to Lagunitas there in Chicago and knowing people, and they had a contract for like 100 years. It was just weird just to see them, but things change. Things change that way. And the beer industry has definitely been undergoing some different changes taking place. And it was just weird seeing them pull up stakes, but it is what it is. The other thing, which is interesting, that I saw, speaking about news actually coming this way, Allagash, which I didn't realize, they actually have now made a return to Ohio after 20 years. I didn't realize they were out of Ohio. I don't know why. I moved to Baltimore for 3 years, and I was getting Allagash White and some of their stuff there. But they have been out for 20 years, and they're now coming back. And it's kind of like interesting just to see that their distribution is kind of like, hey, again, Ohio, we drink a lot of beers. 50 medals at the contest. They're like, that's a good market to actually be in. So let's get back to Ohio, I guess.
Yeah, you go to Ohio, you won't win a medal, but come back to Ohio.
I don't know any reason to be. I've done videos talking about our gas stations sell beer, and some of our gas stations are better than some of the beer stores I've seen in the States. So Ohio is just kind of that place to actually have your beer. We have 400 plus breweries now in Ohio throughout the state. It's just interesting with Allagash. And Allagash does some great beers, I think. I know they took some flack a couple years ago or whatever with the Allagash White or something like that. But the Allagash White is a solid whip beer to actually enjoy. So I'm like, I don't know why people were giving them guff about it, but it's just interesting that it just came back to Ohio.
They put it out because it's now Oktoberfest season, but if you ever see from Allagash Haunted House, it's a black IPA. That's fantastic. It's in a big purple can. That's always one of my I got to grab this 4-pack when it comes out.
Yeah, I would definitely. I'd love a good black IPA, so I would definitely check it out. Speaking of that, like you mentioned, that when you go to get a beer, what is kind of a driving factor? Like, does marketing matter? Obviously, you're like me. You try to get some of the local breweries on but to get your attention off the bat, is it the marketing design? Is it something that catches your eye, or is it just a brewery ahead of time you want to go try?
It's a little of everything. Both of us, we judge the Craft Beer Marketing Awards, so we know what's appealing to the eye, what's a good-looking can. So, when I'm not at a grocery store, but if I'm at a Binny's, or if you're at a Jungle Gyms, we have a big variety of what to choose from. So you look for breweries and respect. Okay, I know they put out a good product. And then if not, then I'm looking for what's a visually appealing can. Then I'll pick it up and look at it and decide if this is something I want. And some of it is just what I feel like drinking that day. If I'm not in the mood for a hazy IPA, I'll reach for something else. Or if I'm not in the mood for a stout, maybe I'll reach for, a lager or a pilsner or something like that. So there's a lot that goes into it. And usually when I go to a place like that, I'm not in a rush. So, okay, what do we have here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never in a rush at a beer, so that's why my wife won't go with me. So she's like, I'm not going to sit in the car for half an hour while you're sitting there trying to figure out what beer you want. So but it's kind of interesting. Allagash made a return back to Ohio, and one of the questions I saw that came out this week, kind of making some rounds around the beer news, is people are asking what the hell is going on with Anchor Brewing? People are starting to ask, the guy from Chopani was supposed to be bringing them back, and nobody's hearing anything. Are you seeing anything on that as we go out to the national scene? Are you seeing anything? Because people are dying to try to get Anchor again if they can.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, like he bought it. There was this big, publicity, and you feel bad because Anchor Steam was the OG. I mean, it was the OG in craft beer when Fritz Maytag took that company over.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I read something. I think it was Dave Infante over at Fingers.
Oh, yeah,
something that, like, even like the skeleton staff that they had there is wondering what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It was like all the stuff in the beginning, and now it's crickets.
Yeah. You were mentioning earlier about having like a series of Bourbon County stouts. I had a series of the Anchor Steam Christmas beer, and I had those. I finally got rid of them all, but like my last ones were 21 years old. And they were still phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. No. Anchor makes a quality product, and for those that don't know, when Anchor Brewing was doing each year, they would have a different tree on their label that to signify a different beer being done.
And like I remember, even a couple years ago, if you're familiar with Chicago in the Wrigleyville area, there's a dive bar called Nisei Lounge, and it's a dive bar. It's a dump, but it's a great beer bar. And, we went there a couple years ago, and they had in their cellar some old Anchor Steam. They used to come out in the Magnums. Like, you could get the 6-pack, and they had the Magnums. And we were there like the week before Christmas. And Virginia, who was tending bar that night, like knew all of us. She's like, we still have some of the old ones in the cellar. We're like, oh, really? So she grabbed, like, it was a 5 or 6 year old one. But this at the time, Anchor was done. So we're like, yeah, grab it. We'll pay for it, whatever. And it's just a phenomenal beer. Like, that's something you would just kill a drifter to drink again. It was so good.
Yeah. Josh says it is dead. Like, I don't know. I mean, it was supposed to be revived, and like the Chopani guy is kind of like in witness protection right now. Nobody's seen him or heard from him or whatever's taking place. But people were hoping it, because last year he was talking about possibly getting a Christmas beer out, which they didn't. But people were looking like to this year, like figuring out what's trying to go on there. So I mean, Anchor was like, for beer folks, like Anchor was a national treasure, right? So it's like we would love to see Anchor get back into the game if possible. And then really the last story, and this is something that, you brought to my attention as well, that we should definitely talk about for sure. And I agree, like the passing of Jack McAuliffe, New Albion Brewery. So we had that actually happen, in the beer world. I mean, he was an icon. He was kind of seen as having the founder of the first microbrewery, so to speak. Doesn't get the attention of like Malcolm Jamal Warner or Ozzy Osbourne or Hulk Hogan, but he also had passed away recently. And, for the beer industry, that was a big loss. I mean, he was 80. He was out of the business now, but it was still, he opened up a lot of opportunity for a lot of folks for what he was actually doing there. And he was a former boxer, which is pretty cool. His old backstory is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, when people like Ken Grossman and others say like he influenced them, that means a lot. So, I mean, we could both honestly say like everything we drink, we need to give thanks to Jack. So please, rest in peace.
Yeah.
You meant a lot to everything that we do right here. We'd still be drinking Miller Genuine Draft or, whatever. Michelob Dry if it wasn't for him.
Was it Red Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jack did a lot of stuff. Like I said, him having opening up that microbrewery that led to stuff like Ken Grossman and other people that followed later on. I mean, it was huge. It was just another opportunity. It was kind of like when you're a brewer and the first time you read The Joy of Home Brewing, right? It's kind of like, it's just like one of those things. And so Yeah, shout out to him and raise a glass to Jack as well. Definitely appreciate the effort and everything you put into it because we're now benefited from the things that you were actually doing. So cheers, my friend. When Sam Adams dropped his 6-pack, I bought it and brought it bottle shares. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it when Sam brought it back. What was it, like 2010, 2011, somewhere around there? Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was like, you saw that at the store. You were like, oh.
Yeah. Although I wish Sam Adams had the old recipe still. I'm still more of a fan of the old recipe than the new recipe. Yeah. Although they didn't do as bad as New Belgium on just chalking the recipe to the side and going with a whole different style. But
yeah, I like the old dirtier style. The new
little bit more of a hoppier type in your face. Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
I wish they would bring back Boston Ale. I loved Boston Ale. Yeah. And that was probably like the only homebrew recipe that like I tinkered with enough and it was good was my Boston Ale.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal beer.
Yeah, people don't realize how much Sam Adams actually, I think, puts out. I think, like, I looked at something in the past, and they were doing like 70 beers a year. Most people just think of the Boston Lager, and then you'll see like the Summer Ale, or you'll see like
the seasonals, the
seasonal type Oktoberfest, and all. And it's like they have some great beers. I'm again being in Cincinnati. I'm fortunate because we had like Jim Cook put a brewery here in Cincinnati because he's from Cincinnati. You go to the brewery and stuff they have on tap that they don't put out on the retail side, some phenomenal beers you can actually enjoy there at the brewery. And that's why I always tell people, like, if you like a beer, if you have a chance to go to that brewery, definitely do so because chances are they have beers in there you've never tasted before, and it's worth seeing what other stuff they're actually doing. It's just that much of an experience and stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, I remember – this was back in 97. So this was, we're pushing 30 years now. I went to the Sam Adams tour in Boston and I looked up and like we're doing the tour and this was like really cool. And they had Jack Daniels barrels up there. I'm like, oh, what's in the Jack Daniels barrels? And they're like, oh, this is something new we're working on and we're aging some beers in bourbon barrels. I'm like, okay, so I'm sure that was probably, if you remember the triple bock that came in that blue bottle. So, I mean, that was really good. And, I talked ad nauseum on my show. Like, I'm a Sam Adams guy. That was the first craft beer I ever had. So that holds a special place in my heart. And to me, it's kind of a shame. They're no longer considered a brewery. You think of Sam Adams, you think of the Twisted Tea and the Truly and all of that, where they're just not pushing the envelope with beer. They just kind of like lay back and hopefully catch lightning in a bottle, which they never do with beer anymore.
Which is, again, the fortunate situation I'm in, having them here locally. I'm able to see some of the other great beers they're actually having on tap, but I feel bad because like the rest of the country doesn't really get a chance to actually enjoy them, but they're doing some phenomenal things here. And Sierra Nevada and North Carolina, amazing when they put that location. In fact, I was supposed to be, we had a BrewTuber get together that took place down in Greenville, South Carolina, but they went up to Asheville as well. I wasn't able to attend with different obligations I had, plus going to CBC earlier this year, but a lot of the guys did go up to Sierra Nevada and they just talked about how much fun they had, how huge it was. They had a lot of good behind the scenes videos. So I wish I would have been there for that because Sierra Nevada is definitely on the list. I would love to be able to check them out at some point. So I'll have to get down there for that. There you go. Train hop out to New Holland. There you go. Take a train ride. I feel like they're doing more things with trains nowadays to kind of open up stuff. So, I saw one thing. You can go cross country with a train. And it was like $200 or something. I don't know if I would want to. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been on a train since I was like a little kid or whatever, going from New Jersey to DC or whatever. But I would, you do that. You have to drive.
I'm just thinking a midnight run in the train where you lock them in the bathroom. I love Midnight Run. Midnight Run's like at my Mount Rushmore movies. Yeah.
Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. Yeah. That's a classic. For some of you younger folks, you may not see Midnight Run, but it's a good movie. If you get a chance, check it out. Might be a little dated now, but it was a classic.
Yaphet Kotto's in there.
Yeah, Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a phenomenal movie. You guys, if you haven't seen it, you got to check out Midnight Run.
De Niro's a bounty hunter. So yeah. Yeah, I haven't rode a train in a while, but I wouldn't be against it if I was watching something again. I don't know what the hell's going on. Obviously, you can't say which one, but some of these airlines nowadays. There was another thing today, like with Southwest, had to divert because of something of another plane, like a smaller plane being in their airspace. I'm like, what the hell is going on with some of these airlines right now with some of these pilots? So taking a train might be a little more safer, so to speak. But yeah. Tell Ruby I said hello, by the way. I know you're probably talking to her.
Yeah, she just like peeked in. She's like, "You're still talking?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I thought this was going to be an hour." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Rod J. We talk." Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's going to be an hour, but yeah. But we did go through the news stories here. Anything else that you want to add there along those lines, let me know. But no, this is great. So hopefully everybody enjoyed. Josh, it was great having you on board as a new viewer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And every other week we'll be doing the Midwest Beer News. Again, Midwest Beer News we put out there because I'm in Cincinnati, Dave's in Chicago, so we kind of drive it from there. But we do touch on some of the national type stuff as well. And then hopefully share some good things that you guys can find out about beer. I don't know if there's anything else we need to add here tonight, so to speak.
No, but if anybody finds anything interesting that, we may not have seen, definitely shoot, either one of us an email. My email is dave@beerinfront.com.
And then mine is rodj at rodjbeerventures.com. And of course, I just dropped the link back out there again, so that you can go to the website to check out other stuff. And then we actually are part of the Beer Media Group. So we do have other members that are a part of that as well, that do podcasts, that do writing, that do various different things throughout the beer community. So find out more by checking out the website there as well. And I know, Josh, you talk about you do beer reviews and you do different things along those lines. If that's something that might be of interest to you, feel free to reach out to the Beer Media Group and become a member there. There's no cost or anything like that involved, but it's a great time, a great chance to network with other people in the beer community on some of the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. If you're interested in that, Josh, send me an email, dave@beerinfront.com. I'll add your stuff to the pages. Just a way to get people like us. We're not influencers. I mean, granted,
technically we are influencers.
But nobody's looking at us in a bikini holding up, well, in Rod's case, a stovepipe can.
We're not TNA.
Yeah. I'm holding up a 12-ounce. Rod's holding up a stovepipe. But, we're not those type of influencers. But we love beer. We love talking about beer. We have a good time. So if it's something you're interested in, reach out to one of us. We'll definitely add you to the website. Hopefully get some more eyes on what you do.
Yeah. And other things that you guys are seeing out in your area on beer news, feel free to share as well. We always want to find out what's taking place there and to definitely let us know. But yeah, hopefully you guys will come back in a couple of weeks as we do the next episode of this as well. Next week, I will be back on the channel with Todd, and we'll be doing the Happy Hour Live. And Dave might be back for that as well as we do the Happy Hour live stream.
Yeah, I'll see when I get off of work. I'll join, midstream. But definitely jump on.
Yeah, the Happy Hour live stream is just we kick back on the channel. We have beers, we crack jokes, we get Todd, and we get Shannon. If you haven't met Shannon, you're going to love Shannon because Shannon always brings a different type of energy to the channel. So we have a blast with having her on. And then a few other brew tubers and stuff like that we kind of just chill. And it's a virtual bar. If you're at the bar having a conversation with people, that's what we kind of do. So the Happy Hour live stream, the Beer News Media, I have upcoming things I'm working on for some of the interviews. So make sure if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Dave over at Beer in Front as well on his YouTube. check out the podcast, check out the website. If you're listening, speaking of the podcast, back on the podcast, make sure to come to the YouTube stuff if you want to be part of the live conversation as well. So if you're listening to the replay there. But yeah, this is what we're doing Friday nights. Thanks for everybody that hung in with us tonight. It's been a blast. I think it's been great. I've definitely enjoyed it. Great stuff happening. Again, Midwest Beer News, a lot more stuff coming your way. And it's not all about New England and Southern California.
Yeah.
We make good beer here too. So that's why we're doing
We
this
don't
show.
win all the medals, but we make good beer here in Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah. Cincinnati, 50 medals. Ohio, 70. So, I mean, who's holding down the state? I'm just saying. We got a lot of good stuff happening here. That being said, we'll go ahead and get up out of here. Look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Josh, appreciate that. Yeah, get me an email, and we will definitely hook up and get you some stuff there as well. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone, and catch you on the next one. And make sure to come back to the channel because new stuff happening all the time, whether it's me, whether it's Dave. Check out either of us. Check out both of us because it's all about beer. Then we are there. Cheers, my friends.
Cheers.